Hi everyone. I always enjoy discussions about empowerment and leadership. And this week, our focus was to look at the exemplary practice of enabling others to act. In our text, Kuzes and Posner, they lay out some fundamental principles for empowerment to happen. Trust and facilitating relationships leads to collaboration. Developing others and giving them the practical tools to success is also critical. So, what does it mean to build trust, and what are some of the ways or techniques that leaders can do so? Sharing knowledge and information and not holding back anything, now that's just one way. And when leaders are the first to share important information to others, as opposed to withholding things, trust can be developed. Fundamentally, enabling others is about relationships. Sharing meaning making, which we talked about in a previous module, and developing common goals cement those relationships and relationship building. So a practical way that was brought up in our text was having large projects structured in a way that promotes collaboration and input from everyone. Certainly, each individual has their roles in the grand scheme of things, and shared efforts really achieve much more. Given all this, what I would call relational foundation, how does this really and practically work? So, in the Leadership Challenge, our authors discuss this idea of strengthening others through practical means, whether that's sharing decision-making, deferring credit, or taking responsibility. And so this concept of self-efficacy, taken from the psychological literature, it's an important concept here. When leaders foster the idea in other people that they can do things themselves and feel confident in that ability, that is when self-efficacy can occur. Some of you know about my past experiences working in the Washington State Governor's Office, where I was tasked to develop and implement a capacity building program with communities, particularly communities on the margins of power. When others not only learned why it was important to be involved in their communities and were given the tools to begin to make change, that sense of empowerment and self-efficacy started occurring. To use an analogy, they had found their voice and began to replicate this empowerment in others. Adding a layer to all this discussion is the importance of culture, or organizational culture. In our readings, we explored history as a tool for leadership development, and the subtext was about how leaders ethically leverage that culture. I really like the robustness of our conversations this week about the implications of using history as a tool, and each one of you have given salient points around the practice of this. One of the things that I explored in my dissertation was about organizational messages that need to occur for empowerment to happen. In addition, when those messages occur is equally important. And so this module reminded all of us that leadership is really a human enterprise built on relationships. What helps in building relationships with others is knowing yourself beforehand. And that's the focus of next week, where we will take an introspective look at leadership. What does it mean to be self-aware, and how do we recognize leadership in ourselves? That emphasis will culminate in the first paper, the Personal Leadership Development and Analysis paper. As a reminder, our assignment is to build a personal leadership assessment tool, or use it, and some of you have asked what that tool should be. It's left blank for a reason, because I want you to find the tool and use it and discuss why you think it's an important step to assess leadership. I think one of the things in the assignment that you'll find is that this is one that is, again, introspective. The goal is to find out not just about others, but really focus on yourselves. And again, the tool is inconsequential. You're not going to create the tool. You're going to use the tool and discuss why you think it is an important way to assess leadership. All right. If you don't have a tool, one possible tool, and if you don't have one possible tool to use is this one here from the Leadership Challenge called the Leadership Practices Inventory. Now, there's a minimal cost to this, but it's well worth it. You can use it. You don't have to use it. Another one is the Personal Leadership Inventory Assessment Tool by a group called Skills USA. So whatever tool you use, I encourage you to do a search for any leadership assessment tool and just use that. There's no parameters around what you can use, how to use it, only that, importantly, justify or give rationale and the background of the tool. If you have more questions about it, don't hesitate to ask. One of the things I will do next week is give you a short video on just some tips and insights for the assignment and a surprise for you at the beginning of the week as well. So with that, that's all for now. And as always, don't hesitate to contact me, which I know some of you have, and that's great. Continue to post through the weekend, and I will see each and every one of you online.